A unique. Sweet. Sweet. A unique. A unique. A very good map. Sweet. Sweet. A very good map. Sweet. Sweet. It's okay.
Hi. So this is my Scion Holy Relic character. Yeah. The character's more defensive oriented than most other softcore characters because I feel like I have enough damage without sacrificing too many other gem sockets or whatever for more damage. Right. Yeah, so we are Scion, we are Ascendant obviously, with Necro, Pathfinder, and Champion on Flesh and Flame. Other people usually go Raider, but that messes up with our attack speed too much and makes it too inconsistent for damage calculations, so I didn't want to go Raider. Yeah, we are, I think, 92 suppression, 50-40 block. 50-40 block? Let me check. 50... We are 53-46 block. Even better. With 5 endurance charges and a bunch of other good stuff. Alright, yeah. Gem links. We have 4 auras in our helm. Termination, Grace, Pride, Zealotry. With Vitality and War Banner for damage and stuff. Cast while channeling, Assassin's Mark, and Double Offering. We don't use Flesh for the same reason we don't use our Radar Flesh and Flame, because the attack speed messes with things. I could probably switch in Flesh Offering for our Assassin's Mark for mapping, but I just cannot be bothered gem swapping in and out when doing maps and all that stuff. With the Ashes and a 21 Race Spectre, we can get and the ring obviously, we get a 25 Spectre Race Spectre, so we can have 3 Spectres for whatever we want. I'm using Pale Seraphim, Demon Harpy, and the Matron. Matron's a defensive unit, usually. What else is there? There's the Anime Guardian, obviously, Kingmaker. The enemies take increased damage helmet, 12% elevated. The rest of his gear is all just, nothing really. Just generic life regen. Actually, life regeneration is pretty important. All his gear is life regeneration. And yeah, that's basically it. The Anime Guardian. Cool part of the build is we fit in Petrified Blood on Arrogance, so we are hit immune, which takes me to our next part, the tree. Yeah, we have Immutable Force and Bloodnotch, the combo that makes us hit immune. So basically, whenever we're hit, every hit is a stun because of this, and because of that, we recoup 60% of our life. And that effectively makes us hit immune to every hit that gets over, 60% of our energy shield, which is usually 0 if we're getting hit enough, or from a large enough hit, regardless. So the tree. Most important part of the tree is this jewel here, this specific jewel. It makes pathing extremely efficient for the build. Going up this way, these 3 nodes are minion damage, and the most important part is this. Gives us the mana reservation mastery, which is important because our mana is completely reserved, almost. And lets us go over here for efficient stun threshold. Next thing is this other circle, this Thread of Hope here. Life. In previous version of the build, I was cold, so it gave me Avatar of Fire. but in this version, it gives me endurance charges, which is why I'm expecting to endurance charges on the side here. Armor mastery, because all our gear has armor, gives us +1 all res, and everything else is pretty standard. Going over to ranger side, obviously, for the flask nodes and suppression, and a little bit of a void over here. Supreme Ego, impossible escape for more reservation. Yeah. Right. Now moving on to the cool part of the build, the gear. Helmet's pretty standard, chest is pretty standard, albeit extremely high rolls. I bought this for 23x, which is a steal in my opinion. Well rolled ashes, really well rolled ashes actually, extremely well rolled ashes. Boots, pretty standard as well. Life, movement speed, chaos res, bit of suppression, int, double influenced. Ignore the fact that the boots and the gloves have lesser mods on them. I spent 5 div trying to make them greater, make them exceptional, and 5 div each, and I just couldn't be bothered anymore, and I just gave up. Oblation, so we can have multiple offerings, which is really important, because it keeps our minions alive, it keeps us alive. Yeah. Cursal hit ring with a little bit of a void. This is the only other place we have recoup, which means that this is the reason why this little bit of recoup is why we are hit and win actually, because Petrified Blood nullifies everything, and we take 67%, right? And the Bloodnotch only takes 60%, so this 16 takes us over the edge. Means that every time we hit, we essentially heal for a bit more. Gloves pretty standard. That's right. The gloves are crafted with Zeal essences, so so we meet our attack speed breakpoints. So this needs to be 18%. If we are on 17%, we lose like a bunch of I think it's like 300,000 damage. It's got regen because we have a lot of regen between Vitality and the Holy Relic's boon. And Unnerve, Spell Suppression, all the Ascendant stuff. Belt has Pride Aura effect, because why not? This is someone's failed Headhunter attempt, obviously, and they just corrupted it casually into, nearly perfect rolls for me. And the piece de resistance of the build, the sword. Reason this is a sword is because I tried to make an item with the increased cooldown recovery rate for minions on a two-handed, and this is the Queen's Decree Decrepit is the only one that had the node on the 3rd slot. Because on two-handeds, support gems, like support gem nodes, are only exist on the 4th slot. So anytime you see this node, but it's on the 4th slot, it's not as good as if it was on the 3rd slot, because you can get an extra gem link, which is less duration in my case, which does affect the Holy Relic, by the way. So it's a 14% more multiplier, iron reflexes, and +1 socketed strength, and bunch of extra socketed stuff for the weapon. This sword is what makes the build do insane amounts of damage. This node in particular, it doesn't exist in the game at the moment on any minion two-hander, I think, or it might exist on one, but none of the 3rd slot at least. This is the only weapon that survived out of all my crafting, and all my crafting, crucible crafting. So I went with the build ended up being a sword for the main weapon. You can do this with other things as well, by the way. Most notably, if you're playing Blink Arrow Mirror Arrow, there is a increased minion duration node. It's the inverse of this, so specifically minions, have less cooldown recovery, so your Blink Arrow Mirror Arrow won't have any downsides, and increased minion duration, so they last longer. There's a bunch of other things cool stuff you can do with this. This is my sword. I don't think there's anything like this on the market. The cooldown recovery rate means that I get to jump to the next CDR bracket. Usually, people only get to the 52% bracket with a 21-23 Divergent. Divergent Holy Relic, which is like nearly impossible to fucking get with a 30% quality Ashes of the Stars, by the way, which is also like I'm not gonna get a 20% reservation, 20% quality, like 30% quality like stars. You know, it's like that's way too expensive for what I think the efficacy of it, right? So this thing just easily just takes us up another bracket. Usually you'd have to use like an enhanced to even get here, but yeah, instead we have this really cool note, and that's the build.